Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Kelly's Bead Boutique. So how's everybody doing? I know this has been a horrible time and everybody's trying to figure out how to live their life and carry on. Some people are working, some are not. It's kind of a crazy time. I know I personally have had a horrible time. I am what I like to call an extroverted introvert, in that I love being around people and I'm all happy and bubbly when I'm around them, and then I like to go home and kind of crash. But I didn't realize how much I was going to really miss being around people. So that has been a huge struggle for me. Luckily, I'm able to still keep working behind the scenes at the store here. We're getting orders out as fast as we can, so I've got something to occupy my mind. But one of the things that people are telling me is that they're bored. You know, there's no more puzzles to be bought out in the world and people are really bored. So I thought, well, let me see what I can do to try to alleviate some of the boredom. So I'm going to keep coming up with projects. Some are going to be different than others, but I'm going to try and put out the odd inexpensive, really quick and easy project where you don't need a huge skill set to be able to make it, and the kit itself is going to be really affordable. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I want you to leave me a comment below and tell me how you're doing. I like to hear from everybody, and I really do care about each and every one of you. And I want to thank you all so much for watching all the time. I'm just on the shy side of 40,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. It's just been amazing. So I want to thank you for watching. If you want to see what I'm making, please come and join me. Okay, so to make our Sandy Shores earrings, I have some 22 gauge wire. I have a pair of ear wires. I have a couple little antique silver charms. I have a couple larger check glass rondelles, and then a couple smaller check glass rondelles, and then 4 little bead caps. And for tools, we're going to be using a pair of chain nose pliers, a pair of bent chain nose pliers, some round nose pliers, and a pair of cutters. So let's get started. So first thing, please excuse my hands. They are like an old, well, I am old, a pair of old ladies' cracked hands. Washing my hands so much, it doesn't matter how much moisturizer I put on them. They look 100 years old. So please excuse them, but I think we're all going to be in that same boat. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some wire, and I'm going to use about 6 inches. We always give you lots in your kits so that you don't have to worry if you make a mistake. You probably have enough to correct your mistake. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to put them down about 1.5 inches, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of room here. Now I'm going to use my thumb and I'm going to bend straight away. I want to have a nice sharp angle there. The next thing I'm going to do is pick up my round nose pliers. Now I'm going to come to the quite close to the front, maybe about 1/4 inch away from the front of my tool, because I don't want to have a great big huge loop on this one. Let me move some of the tools so they're not in the way here so you can see. So I want to have a smaller loop here. So I'm going to come from the back and go up and over and press that straight down. And now I'm going to open up my tool, rotate it so that it's now parallel to the table, and so I'm going to squeeze. Now we have that little tail that's out in the front here, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to pull it straight back. So now you can see that that creates like a little loop, but you can see it's sort of tilted offside a little bit. So I'm going to take my plier and I'm going to rotate that to the right just a little bit, and that creates a bit more of like a stop sign with an arm coming out of it, and that's exactly what we want. Now I'm going to take that and place that through the little top part of the charm. So what I usually do is I just take my fingernail and I kind of open that up a bit to make it easier to kind of pop right in there. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to go right over top of that loop. I don't want to just grab onto part of it, because then the whole thing will collapse as I try to wrap it. So I try to get my tool in there as best as I can. You sort of have to muscle it in, but you're the boss, so you can get it in there. So now one of the things I want to make sure on this one is that I don't create a neck. I want to have sort of a stubbier look, because I tried making it with a bit of a neck and it just didn't look nice. So I'm going to do a little bit different than I normally do. So I'm going to do one wrap around, and then I'm going to do my wraps towards my right hand here. So I'm just going to create a couple wraps like that. And I always want to make sure that I end kind of in the back. So they don't have to be messy. They can be neat or messy, whatever you like. I just don't want to have a neck on this one. So now I'm going to take the flat side of my flush cutters and place it down towards the wire. Give that a little trim. And then now you'll see you'll have a little burr. I have to find it with my old eyes. There's a little burr there. So what I'm going to do is take my pliers and I'm going to just gently push that burr down. You just don't want to have that poking out. Just make sure it's nice and flat. So now you can see, although it's not a perfectly straight one, that's fine. I didn't want a neck, and that creates a little bit of a nicer sort of a cushion for these beads. So now I'm going to take one of our little bead caps and place that on, and then the large rondelle. Now the nice thing about these rondelles is they're all different colors. Like they're the same color, but you'll see some look a little different than others, but I think that's what gives this visual interest. All right, now I'm going to put on another bead cap. This one has a hole that's a little wonky. Let's see if we can get it through there. Yay. Sometimes you just have to be the boss of things. And then I'm going to put on my next rondelle. Okay, so now we've got our little... So now I want to make a loop, but I don't want it going the same direction as this loop because I need to attach my ear wire. So what I'm going to do is take my wire, I'm going to look at it this way so it's facing towards me, and I'm just going to take that wire and I'm going to bend it right over, because again, I don't want to have a neck, so I'm just bending sharply right against that bead there. So now I'm going to repeat like I did before. I'm going to go about 1/4 of an inch of the way up, and now you kind of have to rotate it a little bit and sort of tip it to get it in there, but it works the same way. So I'm going to go up and over and down, open my pliers, rotate so that the pliers are now parallel to the table, and I'm going to bring that right straight to the back. And now you can see that it's really out of whack. It's really over here. So I'm going to just rotate it. I just sort of grab and rotate. I'm just grabbing like little tiny bites with it basically. And I just keep pulling it over until it's sitting right where I want it. And there we go. Now you can see that that loop is sitting directly on top, which is exactly what we want. So now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and go right over top of that loop, get a good hand hold on it, and I'm going to wrap once, and then I'm going to go work my way up instead of down. It's just a little opposite to what I do. And then I'm going to finish in the back. Now I'm going to take the flush side of my cutters and come in and give that a good trim. And then I'm going to find that little burr. So there's the burr right there. And I'm just going to kind of tuck that down a little bit. So now this one's kind of got a weird thing happening. It's got something sort of sticking up. So I'm just going to take my pliers and just sort of pull that down. The nice thing about this soft craft wire is you can kind of manipulate it. So I'm not pushing very hard because I don't want this to go all like wonky and end up where I don't want it to. But you can see how now that gives that kind of a nice squatty look, and it just kind of gives it a cleaner finish. So the last thing I'm going to do is add a pair of ear wires, and these ones are nice. You can kind of just stick them in the back there and then close that up. So there you go. So I'm just going to finish the second one off camera and I'll be right back. So there you go. There's our sandy shore earrings. These really do remind me of the ocean with the little sand dollar bottom, the bluey green, which reminds me of the color of the water, and the sort of sandy brown, which of course reminds me of the sand. These make the perfect gift. So if you're trying to think of something that you can send somebody right now in our time of no shopping, these would be perfect. And they're only going to be $5.99. There will be a link in the description box, so you just go down below the video and there'll be a link that will take you directly to my website and you can purchase them there. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give me a like, leave me a comment. I love to hear from everybody, and please subscribe to my channel. It really does help it out. I want to thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.